Hi, Sid Dobrin here with Inventive Fishing, and I've been thinking. I've been thinking about stagnation and how often we lose our momentum in advocacy. And I guess what's driven me to this thinking is the waning interest in the Biscayne Bay closures. Now, if you'll remember, last year the National Park Service closed a huge chunk of Biscayne National Park to recreational fishing without consultation with the Florida Wildlife Commission, and certainly without consideration of public opinion, or, even more important, without providing scientific evidence to show that the closures have positive effect on marine environments. At that time, Florida Congressional Representative Ilyana Ros-Lehtinen forwarded a bill to Congress to prevent the closures and to preserve public access to the public waters. Now, more recently, Florida Senators Bill Nelson and Senator Marco Rubio introduced S3099, the Access to Sport Fishing Act of 2016, a bill to preserve and enhance saltwater fishing opportunities for recreational anglers and for other purposes. Now, first and foremost, I want to thank Congresswoman Ros-Lehtinen, Senator Bill Nelson, and Senator Marco Rubio for stepping up and making these important proposals on behalf of the saltwater anglers of Florida and of the rest of the nation. For so many reasons, some political, some economic, and some ethical, we need to be grateful for this kind of leadership. These bills, along with other proposed bills like the Sportsmen's Heritage and Recreational Enhancement Act, are more important now than ever in our nation's history, as saltwater anglers, all anglers in fact, and all outdoor sportsmen, face the possibilities of more and more federally imposed closures and restrictive management plans. The problem right now isn't that there are agencies and organizations that wish to impose management plans. This has always been and will always be the case. The problem is the procedures by which the plans are enacted and the agendas driving those plans. Look, there is nothing inherently wrong with closures, even to public waters like Biscayne National Park or Tortugas National Park. The problem lies in why and how the closures are implemented. Closures that are put in place based upon a consideration of scientific data, economic impact, and public input can often be a useful, viable management process. However, closures, what are officially known as marine protection areas or MPAs, that are imposed on public waters because of a philosophical or ideological belief that the closures would be or should be good for the region, well, these kinds of closures are not only bad politics, they're downright fallacious in their logic. Like I said, MPAs have their value, but when an MPA is imposed by a federal regulating agency because of a belief that closures should logically work in a particular way, then that closure has been implemented on a system of belief, not science, not research, and not fact. Such a belief also limits the vision of what might be contributing factors to a particular region's declining environmental status, say for instance a specific reef system. Closures imply that recreational anglers are the primary cause of fish population decrease or environmental destruction. That is, closures like these suggest that recreational angling, because of its proximity and action to the space in question, can be the only real cause of the problem. Now, such beliefs deny the effect of other contributors to the situation: ocean acidification, the role of invasive species, pollution, changes in ocean temperatures, salinity changes, and so on. That is, there are larger ecological factors at play in our oceans that well exceed the recreational fisherman's contribution to a region's decay. Funny that with all the ecological mayhem wrought upon Florida waters this summer by big sugar runoff in the Okeechobee, we're still believing that closing areas to recreational anglers will somehow solve our bigger problems? Quit believing, start learning, start knowing. In the meantime, we cannot take a time out and assume that Ros-Lehtinen, Rubio, and Nelson will carry the mantle ahead for us. Yes, we need to thank them, and we need their leadership, but we can't become a stagnant voice. These challenges we face require our collective angling voices, require that we reconceive the notion that being a saltwater angler is just about the act of fish and hook and line. Being a saltwater angler anywhere in the U.S. must now also mean being an advocate. It requires us not to become stagnant in how we think about and defend our angling rights in public waters. Fish on. Can't.